Hello, and welcome to my Organization 610, Organizational Theory and Design, Module 5.2 presentation. This week's presentation is on the maturity stage of Eagle EV. And as always, my name is Shane Corcoran. I'm dealing with a little bit of a cold this week, so I seem a little bit nasally. That is why. But let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we have a quick agenda today. I'm going to be speaking to my proposed organizational structure change for Eagle EV, based on being in the maturity phase of the organizational life cycle. We're going to talk about growth as a restructuring outcome, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the redefining of the executive role at this stage, and then of course providing some sources. Okay, so as you can see here, Eagle EV has changed quite dramatically from the last presentation and the last stage of the organizational life cycle. Previously, it was very much still product focus, but housed all within sort of like one general entity. And what I've done is suggested that we take this organization to be a multinational organization. And so changing our geographic changing our geographic locations for our operational bases is really what I'm proposing here. And so what this looks like is you still have your chief leadership administrative offices at the top, with your CEO, your CFO, COO, CMO, CTO, and your CHO. I did want to put kind of sort of the capabilities that they're in charge of, right, which is strategy, vision, partner management, and just general administrative. Going down in this middle here, we have the operational and customer-facing entities, and really what this is meant to show is that there is a separate set of resources that are devoted to Eagle EV Americas, which does incorporate North and South America, and then there is a whole other group under similar structure, but different people, of course, supporting the Asia and Australia division. So what I like about this is it definitely creates some focus for each of the geographic areas. But I do want to kind of maintain that center of excellence and standards across this bigger conglomeration. So what I'm proposing here is that we really have two larger divisions, and I'm proposing that I'm going to embed a president within each of these. So Americas and Asia, and so Americas and AA is what we'll call Asia, and Australia. Will each have their own president that will report back up to the CEO. I'm doing this and kind of maintaining separate product lines within each division to I really want to maintain that focus on products. So that's always kind of been where I'm coming from a structure perspective, and I want to maintain that. But I want to become closer to our customers and understanding their different needs and wants. The needs of Asian and Australian customers is very different than our North American customers. And so I think it's really important to sort of segment in that way and provide some focus to really understanding the needs and wants of those specific markets. But I still, as I mentioned before, do want to have this cross-divisional standardization when possible, using as much of the same IT stack, and leveraging some of the capabilities that the larger organization has when it's appropriate. So this organizational change will be quite dramatic, and it will require refocusing one group of people that was focusing on maybe both Asian and American wants, and refocusing back onto kind of separate priorities. But in doing so, I am wanting to maintain or, kind of instill more autonomy for each of these divisions to do what they deem necessary, right, to forward the company's, vision and direction. So I'm really kind of proposing this for a lot of reasons. We're having a lot of, we're growing, right? And that's amazing. And we're seeing a lot of customers outside of just America now. And so I think it's important to understand those customers' wants and needs. I think that there's some level of stagnation within the American office, and I think there's a disconnect between our customers. And so I want to kind of shake things up and refocus and reprioritize people on things. Um, I also think it'd be important just to have a more local presence where we're actually selling these items, right? I think it's beneficial from a design and research perspective. I think you know these resources in these countries in Asia are going to be our customers, and so they probably have a better understanding of the wants and needs that they have, of course, better than I do, being over here in America. And so I want to leverage that. So I want to shift design and manufacturing of the Asian market to Asia, and this, which I hope will also allow, the U.S. division to kind of focus on the wants and needs of our customers and making sure that we're really delighting them and not just meeting their needs. So when we look at growth or we look at restructuring, there's always a potential that uh, it doesn't really go very well, but I like to think that there is an opportunity for growth to be an outcome of this restructuring. So I'm really proposing a divisionalized structure. This has been made very successful by large conglomerations such as Johnson and Johnson and the Gerwin Corporation, each allowing the divisions or separate companies, I think, as they have it, to really operate independently, as long as they kind of stick to certain things and create general value for the larger organization. So I want to kind of use that model. The Consumer Finance Institute was really quick to highlight a lot of advantages of taking a company multinational. Some of them are efficiency, right? Manufacturing and raw materials, as well as cheaper labor pools, will allow for products to be created much more efficiently from within their local markets. This will increase savings and potentially increase sales because we're developing products that people actually desire. And another advantage of having a multinational conglomeration is kind of development, right? Eagle has an opportunity to provide a good working environment and create great working relationships with the locals that we're employing, as well as governmental bodies that we're working with. And this will generate a good, reliable labor pool that hopefully we can help benefit economically. And in return, hopefully we can, build up some good reputation and good rapport, as well as some good tax advantages and incentives for our offices and being there. And then really, I keep coming back to this, but it's empowering those local to make the decisions, right? And who better to understand the wants and needs of a local person than someone who's there, and that's goes for the American side as well as the Asian side as well. I think in addition to this, there's also something you said about decentralization of authority. Um, Panasonic is a huge corporation, and they largely centralized a lot of their operations. But over time, because they are a worldwide entity, they discovered issues with having a more centralized authority model. And they said, no company can operate efficiently on a global scale by centralizing all key decisions and then farming them out for implementation. It just doesn't work. No matter how good they are, no matter how well supported analytically, the decision makers at the center are too far removed from individual markets and the needs of local customers. So it's really important to kind of, provide that autonomy for people in local markets. Um, all right, and then finally, what are the strategies that I think need to be used at this stage of a company, and how do we redefine, um, that executive role, right? I really see the role of leadership at this stage evolving from day-to-day operations to focusing on the future and focusing on your people. Um, I think it is really important to kind of allow the people that are more closely to those day-to-day decisions to do them, and support them by providing them, um, sort of what's ahead, and supporting people in their growth. And so some strategies I feel like leadership needs to do at this stage is really resetting with your staff, right? When you get so big, I think some of that context for why you do what you do can be lost, and so I think it's necessary to provide clarity um, to your organization and provide that context to know what's expected of them, what they can expect from you, and why they're there. Otherwise, I think you're going to see a lot of personal preference and confusion will set in, and that was really described by Bowman and Deal on their book on redefining of organizations. As well as, I think we just need to change the human resource narrative. I think that has been one of benefits and very kind of boring, for lack of a better word. um, and I think we need to view it more as a growth opportunity for the individuals that we employ, right? And really our most important asset, which is our human ones. I think we need to see them as see humans as more than just a warm body doing a task, and see them as an individual that with some nurturing, um, they can really grow and provide a ton more value to your organization. So organizational learning can make a huge difference with respect to an organization's key measures of success. To maintain a competitive advantage in the 21st century, organizations need their employees to adapt to new business challenges and increase their capacity and ability to learn. And I had a professor that said that, um, last year, and it was really profound to hear that, right? And it's more than just what we do, but it's the people that are doing it that's important to kind of nurture. The opportunity and challenge becomes how to organize these sets of active learning activities, right? How do we figure out what people need to learn, but it's important to center them around the capabilities that your organization needs to maintain and to become, competitive in the future. Uh, and if an organization is unable to articulate these capabilities, then there's really some issue on from leadership on what they are, and I think that's going to be an issue too, right? And really, I think if that is the case, then leadership, that's another thing that they need to do at this stage, is redefine what those core things are, and work with your human resource partners to kind of figure out good plans on bringing people into the fold and educating them, right along with you, right? And really, finally, innovation and growth really go hand in hand. And so, the more we kind of adopt a growth mindset about how we solve problems and find efficiencies, and we, find individuals that also have this mindset, we're really setting ourselves up for being a really resilient company, and a company that will exhibit a bunch of growth under strain and pressures from other things that are going on. So to sort of recap today, um, we talked about the proposed organizational structure change with a more divisional structure that's on different continents. We talked about growth as a restructuring outcome, and then redefining the executive role to focus on the human element and more on the future. I thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to the next one.